Hello, I'm Barbara Humpton, CEO of Siemens USA, and I'm thrilled to be here today with CEO and co-founder of Core Power, Lindsay Gorrill. Hi, Lindsay. Thanks for joining me. And you lead Core Power, a provider of batteries and integrated solutions for the electric vehicle and energy storage sectors. We've all heard a lot about the need for batteries to drive electrification, and I'm excited to talk to you because Core is leaning into that challenge. Siemens is proud to be working with you on a big project that we'll talk about today. But first, we're in an exciting moment for industry in America, and it's happening after an eventful few years in which we've navigated tough supply chain disruptions and welcomed historic government investments in infrastructure. You founded Core Power in 2018, which seems like a lifetime ago. Tell us about how the company started and how your vision for the company is now coming to life.
Thanks, Barbara. I'm excited to be on this Washington Post Live. So my previous company I sold, I was in the mining sector all my life. The previous company was basically a critical supply to lithium batteries, which made me focus and found 2018. And as you mentioned, our facility in Arizona, we broke ground in December of 2022. And I think Corplex will be an anchor for the domestic supply chain. Will provide cells and e-mobility and utility scale storage to the entire infrastructure of the United States. And we want to position ourselves to be the domestic supply chain, to create a supply chain for all industries in EV sector and infrastructure, including from both before the cells and above. And what's unique is we are a U.S. owned IP, which is obviously very rare. And with my background has allowed me to get us to this point so quickly, even though 5 years seems like a long time, but we've progressed this thing very, very quickly. I think we fill the gap in domestic manufacturing by providing the storage assets that make clean energy available where and when it's needed. And one thing we want to dispel right off the bat is that the minerals that go into lithium batteries are not rare, they're everywhere. The issue we have is timing, meaning you have to discover it, permit it, and put in production. And I think that with government and private sector working together, we can get there in the next 5 years.
That's exciting. Now, in a previous segment like this one, I had a chance to talk to Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego about how Phoenix has become a hub for EV innovation. And so I wanted to highlight the Coreplex in particular, your lithium-ion battery cell gigafactory that you're putting up now, as you say. And Siemens is so proud to be involved with it. What does it take to create a gigafactory like this? And what does it mean not only for the Phoenix community, but for the United States as a whole?
Well, you need a super group of people working together, but we are bringing a $1.25 billion modern clean manufacturing facility to one of the fastest growing communities in Arizona called Buckeye. And Buckeye's been very receptive. We are bringing thousands of jobs to the market, and a majority of these jobs don't require advanced education, mainly technical in nature. And one of the big things about Buckeye is almost everybody travels to Phoenix to work, so we can cut off 2 hours of the commute to work with us in Buckeye. On top of all that, we're partnering with colleges, universities, and technical schools to train and further provide education for our employees. We understand the need to start training employees now for this industry, and it's going to take more than just Core Power. But we believe the work we are doing in Arizona now with high schools, all the way to universities, will basically start a founding block for not just us, but all the other industries to follow. And I think that's very, very important as we develop the next generation of employees. But there's another piece of this. Arizona is also home to many EV companies, and the state was one of the early adopters to utility scale energy storage, which is both our customers. But today, most of these projects all come from overseas. And the Coreplex will show that the world, we can produce high quality product for the EV and energy storage industries right here in the United States. We see Core as an independent battery producer, where all the other batteries companies coming to the United States are tied to larger OEMs. And there is a massive amount of demand for infrastructure and hundreds of other EV companies related that are in desperate need of supply and will be that supply. We think this is important because it's going to take more than the established few to meet the energy transition. And we worked very hard over the last 4 years to prove our product is tier 1, and we've had success both in energy storage and EV charging, EV applications all over the world. And we've been able to negotiate large offtake agreements that will pre-sell the majority of the coreplex production before it is even built. So again, core makes the battery cell. We are the foundation to the energy transition. Without the cell, there's no transition. And that's what's really important. And we're showing everybody we don't need to rely on other countries to get there. Core is US-based, American IP, and we're strategically trying to bring the supply chain here because there's one thing we've learned in the last 3 years is that having access to your own raw materials is absolutely essential. Thanks.
Well, then in closing, let's come back to this idea that none of us will shape a more sustainable future alone. A lot of folks know why policy action and investment at the federal, state, and local levels matter. But I also like to point out that this is just a down payment. There's also a big role for private sector financing to play. And give us your perspective on what it takes to actually bring a huge project like this to reality.
For sure. I mean, having the US government invest in the growth of these industries is massive, right? Which will allow our industry to start moving rapidly at the scale required to meet the energy transition rules. The IRA is a great start and allows the private sector to make major investments with less risk in early stages, which they would normally not do. This is still a young industry, but with this support, the industry would mature very quickly. We'll see more innovation in the sector, which will be essential for us to hit targets like long duration, very fast charging cells, something that Core is working on right now. Eventually, we'll see the government funding ramp down as the industry becomes viable standing alone. But in the short term, it will be essential that the government continues to support those of us who are pushing the sector forward and will show the world in no time that we are the leaders in this technology. This is why, Barbara, I can't wait to welcome you to the Buckeye when the Coreplex is up and running. Thank you.
Lindsay Gorrill, thank you so much. Thank you for your leadership, and I'm proud to be a partner.